Okay, so what we're going to look at now is encapsulation. So there's a couple things going on here. Um, we don't have any access modifiers or getters or setters. We um, so anyone can kind of come in here and fool around with our these different variables, the character name and ability. All right, so what we're going to do is start off by creating something called a backing variable for each one of these guys. So what I normally do is just hit Control D here, and then I put an underscore in front of the name, and I make it a lowercase p. All right, so now let's move this above here. I should have just changed the name on the other one. So what your backing variable is it's going to contain a value that's going to be set or get in this property here. So let's take a look at how to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do an open and close curly brace here. I'm going to write get semicolon set semicolon. And what we want to do is load in a value, um, a value into this when this is used. So when we load in a player's character name. All right, so in my getter, I'm going to put a open close curly brace here, and I'm just going to return whatever's in my backing variable here. So I'm going to return my backing variable. All right, so in our setter here, let's expand this out a little bit. So what we're looking at here, and this can seem a little confusing. All we're doing is getting a value here that's being passed in from this, right? So these are essentially the same. So let's say we want to check if that value is that's being set. So say the player's character name is Alex, and we want to check if we want to make sure that whatever value is being passed in is greater than 0. So what we can say is if, and then throw our open close curly braces in here, the value being passed in, which is whatever's inside of here, dot length, and we can use our length property because is greater than 0. And we can use that because the value that's being passed in is a string, and you can use length to check the length of the string, like how long it is. And then I can say if that's the case, then we'll go ahead and assign to player character name the value that's being passed in. So this gets the value, but this actually sets the value into our variable, that our backing variable. So good programming practice is to always check or validate if that exception doesn't happen. So what does that mean? So what we can do is we can throw an exception. So say they load in, they just pass in a variable that doesn't have a 0, right? Well, right now we don't really, it's just not going to do anything. So it's a good idea if we throw an exception. So throw new exception. And all we're going to say in this is, please pass in, or please, yeah, pass in a name greater than 0. So that's it for this. And then we'll move on to encapsulation.